Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another Conversation in Consciousness. I'm excited to be here today and talk about a topic that can get often a little bit misunderstood, and that has to do with time. And maybe some of you are feeling it. It seems to be going faster and faster, and at the same time slowing down. So I've asked Jim to join me, so let's talk about some elements of this thing called time. Welcome, Jim.
Hi, Vida. Nice to do this with you again.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. So let's unwind this thing called time. And we talk about how it's kind of collapsing, but what that looks like for us in our kind of everyday life is like, I'm out of time. What was 5 minutes is now just a second, or was that today, or was that yesterday, or when did I do that? So let's talk about what's happening.
Okay. So it depends on your point of reference. It sounds like a funny thing because if you ask 100 people on the street, is there anything different than linear time, past, present, future? And then you die. And, 98 of them will say, what are you talking about? And 2 of them will be crazy anyway. So people don't recognize from where we play this game of third dimension reality that we live in, that time is an application. It's not a fixed concept, meaning that nature of linear time is just one of 5 different applications that you use to create with. So time is a tool for creation. But in that third dimensional space, in the kind of the platform that we live on, we're so ingrained into past and future. And then our human nature is to basically look at dualities, good, bad, right, wrong, should, shouldn't. Are they going to like me? Aren't they going to like me? Type of polarities, dualities. And so we're constantly looking in the past and projecting it into the future. I hope that doesn't happen to me, or they told me and I'm going to follow that truth. And so, but what happens in that game, I'm going to call third dimension, where we live our life, it too is a construct that also is not fixed. And so one of the things that is happening right now, this nature of time changing, it's going faster, it's going slower. It's August or September or July, whatever it is, and it was just January a minute ago. And see, people don't understand that, but everybody is experiencing that. And so one of the things that we talk about in level 2 particularly is, how do you get into present time? How do you define present time? Now, so present time is this space, and you've heard teachers for a long time teaching about you've got to get into the now, and everything is about now. And this present time moment is all there is. There's nothing in the past. There's nothing in the future. That's a correct statement, but it's too big to wrap your head around for most people. So one of the things, and let's just play a game here. Everybody kind of play a game with me for a minute. If I said to you, just take a breath and kind of feel the inhale and then be aware of the exhale. And then do that just one more time. One more inhale and exhale. Now, just notice yourself. Are you more present, more aware, more conscious, more here after those 2 breaths than you were just a moment ago? Now, we're not being deeply philosophical. It's just, do you have a sense of yourself being more present? And that's that present time moment. But what happens is you go, oh, that was nice. And then you move your attention away from that observation point into, well, how's your day going? And, oh, it's nice. And I have to go to, and we move away from that point of observation. So when you start to get into understanding just that simple concept of taking a breath and being here, one of the things that happens is it begins to be really clear, if you allow it. There is no past and there is no future, but there is choice. And your problem or your opportunity that you are dealing with in present time allows you to choose how I wish to engage with this, rather than I only have one choice and it's a problem or it's a solution. And we go to experiences, we go to remembrances of the past, and we then put them all together to apply it to a future moment that we're about to step into. But if you can get into present time, what happens is you can observe what's in front of you, problem or opportunity. You can take another breath and everything changes. Now, this is subtle. What happens is, instead of me trying to figure it out, go to all of the things that I know in order to apply it to what I need to deal with, if I just pause in that space, and everybody has had this experience, all of a sudden it's like, okay, I know what to do. So when you get into this present time moment, everything comes to you. You don't have to go to searching for an answer. You know, I often say that the answer lies exactly where the question is asked. But when we ask questions quite often, it's like, oh, I got to fix this. And then we move. We start looking for an answer away from ourselves. Does that make sense?
It does. And it's a really good explanation of kind of what is inside that pause, that space where you're just taking a breath and having a moment. Because I love what we talk about, especially in like level 1, or when you have challenges, like they're really in your face. Like, oh my gosh, this is here. I don't know. What am I going to do? There's a level of shock where it just kind of sits here. You can't see very well. And so that pause, when you're like, I'm going to just take a breath, I'm going to relax and have a moment, it's creating space that's kind of allowing that answer to kind of drop in. So it's a really great way. We've been talking about pausing and really working to slow down. And it is so interesting to notice this. It's almost difficult to slow down. It's almost painful to be like, no, it's okay. Breathe. No, extra minute. Give yourself one more minute. It's because the habitual movement forward is so, it's like it's DNA built in. It's like you just have to keep moving. And even there's like a comfort level, like, oh, I'm moving, so it's okay. We're going to be okay. That stillness can actually be a difficult place, or a pause, a difficult place to just be in for any period of time.
Yeah. And see, if you just break that down, what happens is a person has a reaction. It's like, oh, this isn't supposed to be happening. And what we immediately do is we don't stay in the center of our head. We don't take a breath and go, how did that happen? We immediately jump out of the body, in a manner of speaking. We go to. And then as soon as we go to, and quite often when something isn't the way I want it to be, we go to anxiety. We go to fear. We go to, oh, this is broken, this isn't good. And we get very engaged in an emotion and a reaction to what it's supposed to be. Now, if you were able to kind of allow yourself to begin to recognize what present time is, and that there can be all kinds of circumstances that go on that don't quite match what you think should be happening, and a tremendous amount of them aren't problems. It's just like, well, how come the glass isn't filled? Well, I didn't turn the water on to fill it up. It's not a catastrophe. It's not some massive problem. So when you can begin to just pause, you start to get to the point where you become less reactive. See, the nature of third dimension in past and future is reactionary. You come to understand that really in the third dimensional game board, choice is not even a choice. Because when you're in, oh no, this is terrible, everything's not going right, you are in reaction to, but you're not in the pause that says, okay, what do I do here? Take a breath and realize, oh wait, this isn't even that big of a problem quite often. But the present time, one more piece to this that is really important is you begin to understand that you can manage yourself in and around challenges, and you take that breath, now you're not in that third dimensional game anymore. You kind of step into another layer of consciousness. And in that layer of consciousness, you have choice. And that's really a very significant place, moving from non-choice to choice in challenges.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you're pointing to, which is kind of the power that's inside the present moment. This is where you mentioned, or we do in the work all the time, we're talking about how much we live in the past or in the future, but we're never truly centered in that present moment of right now, because that's where all your power sits.
Yes.
You've given it away all to the past, you've given it away all to the future. I don't know. So it's this is a big piece, how everything is inside that present moment in that stillness.
And if you start building on that, and this is where level 2 it becomes so valuable, is you start to recognize that many of the thoughts that I think, and many of the emotions I hold, many of the beliefs that I hold are not mine. Now that sounds preposterous. It's like, wait, I feel this and I'm thinking this. How can it not be me? But when you start to get in present time and you're not looking for people who are problems, but you look back at the mom, dad, teacher, minister in your life. And what you realize is they told you X. Now, you had no reason to disbelieve or challenge them. They're the mom, dad, teacher, minister. But what you start to realize is those thoughts, those truths, those beliefs that I'm holding, they're not even mine. And you begin to realize, wait, I keep saying I believe and I feel and I think this, but when I'm in present time, it doesn't really make sense, because every time I think, believe, feel that, I get angry, I get off balance, I get scared, I get controlling of somebody else's response. I'm off balance. But the moment you begin to take that breath and pause and observe, a number of things happen, and you recognize, wait, a lot of how I've structured myself isn't my own doing. Many of those thoughts and beliefs just begin to dissipate. Now, in level 2, you've got lots of tools, but those tools are more awarenesses of how things work, and then how to apply a tool just to clear an energy, a thought, an emotion, a fear out of your space. Not challenging to remove fear or anxiety or guilt or blame. It's not yours for the most part. You begin to have, in that present moment, an opportunity to shift from one position to observe from another point of reference.
Yeah, and there's one more piece you're pointing at in this kind of present time moment that I think is another key piece to bring in, and that's neutrality. In the sense, you can be wanting something or need, maybe let's say defining want versus need here is interesting, where you can have all sorts of different, bits of information that's sitting inside this moment. But if you're charged in any way or needing an outcome, it becomes difficult to see which of the pieces fit and which of the pieces don't, even if you are in this present time moment. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So a lot of the pieces that we respond to, let's just call them programming. Let's just call them, take for example, the watch that you wear works. Do you need to go buy a Rolex? Do you need to go get the most newest watch? Watch works. So what happens is we begin to try to fit into positions, alignments. I need to be seen. I need to be important. I need to be all these things. But once you really play that game, and we all do that from the beginning because that's what you're taught, is how the game is played. But we're playing a game. And so once you begin to recognize, being simple, that watch works, and I don't need $1,000 watch because it works just the same as time works on my little watch. You start to get to a place where you recognize this word programming. Now, programming is advertising. Programming is just somebody casually saying, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow. And then 2 days or an hour later, somebody says, anybody know what the weather's like? You are now an authority. It's going to rain tomorrow. I know it. Well, do you know it? No, you heard it. You passed it on. You never even thought about, is it real or not? And so we are constantly in and out of things that have no relationship to us, but we become authorities. We want to be recognized. We want to know things. But quite often, a lot of that anxiety, that uncomfortableness that's inside is the fact that all of a sudden I've said I know something and I don't know something. One of the values in all this work, particularly in level 2, moving into level 3, is you start to begin to discern, a really big word. And your word neutrality is kind of the foundation of that. As soon as I can begin to take that breath and get neutral, many new possibilities begin to come to me. Let's touch on time again in a little bit. You know about time and you know about space. Well, time, space is one thing. It's not two things. And time, space moves through you. You don't move through time and space. Now, a lot of room there for people to go, wait, that doesn't make sense. I'm right here and it's 1 o'clock and then it's 2 o'clock and then it's 3 o'clock. I'm moving through time. But in real terms, you never left your chair. And you sit in that chair all day long and it's 1 o'clock coming to you, 2 o'clock coming to you. Time, space passes through you. And as you begin to get into present time, into the center of your head, you begin to get calmer. What happens is you also begin to realize from that neutrality discerning space that I can choose the result that I wish to experience. Now that's, some people go, what? You can have anything you want? Yeah, you can have anything you want. Well, but let me tell you my problem is, no, you're telling me about your past and your fear of the future. If you can get to that place where that first breath and you're sitting right there and you begin to fantasize, you begin to imagine, you begin to bring your excitement to the attention point that you wish to create, what happens is you're sitting right in the center of yourself and all of that creation begins to happen coming to you. That time space comes to you. And the creation of your intention comes to you. What we believe we have to do, what we've been told we have to do, is we have to work hard. We have to go out there and get it. That's not correct. So the minute you can begin to play in this space of allowing yourself just to get quiet and considering a big choice, I can enjoy myself being quiet, all of a sudden everything begins to change.
So can you say then that where all the possibilities are available to you in the present moment, like this is all your options, they're all sitting there on the table. Is that similar to, a lot of people talk about simultaneous time? Is that the same thing?
So now you begin to get into those 5 aspects of present time. And so let's just talk about 4 of those aspects of present time, because one of them is outside of the capacity to define at the moment. But you have linear time, past, present, future, then you die. Okay. And so if you keep playing in the past and the future, you miss present time. Now your day just goes by and if I said to you, how was your day? It's like, well, I don't know. I did all these things. So the second construct of present time is circular time. And quite often people know about circular time from one particular point of view. It's like, oh, this is happening to me again. Why is this happening to me again? Now, it happens to you again because that simple construct, one of the most valuable constructs there is, law of attraction. What I put my attention on is what the universe provides me. Now, in that context, the universe doesn't argue with you. You're the creator being. And so the universe basically says, no problem. I will give to you exactly what you ask for. I will never challenge you. I'll just provide you. But the universe doesn't speak English, French, and Spanish very well. What it does, it speaks vibration. And so if you are in anxiety, you are in fear, you are worrying about, what you are worrying about is what you're drawing to you. And so quite often we think we've fixed things, whether it's, let's call it a divorce, and, never do that again. But your personality didn't change. And the kind of man, woman, person that you want to partner with is kind of a vibration of who you are. So you get excited about that person over there that's like you. And if you haven't changed how you perceive yourself, quite often that circular time brings you that same partner in a different size, color, shape. But very quickly you start to know, oh gosh, not this again. Circular time. Once you begin to get to a place where you manage that present time moment more, and you begin to recognize everything comes to me, and a lot of the programming that I've accepted from the mom, dad, teacher, minister, not beating any of them up, I've just accepted. It doesn't fit for me. Now you begin in present time to get the awareness that I can let this go. All these things that they have told me, I can let go. And so you begin to shift how your whole personality works. Now, this is where you start to play in more in the level 3, 4 part of Mastering Alchemy, is simultaneous time in present time is one of those aspects of present time. But it's not something that's generally available without a little bit more knowledge. This is where Mastering Alchemy is a journey. It's not a weekend class. It's not a magic wand and now I got it. It really is a lot about changing that 8th chakra, beginning to change how you use your psychic spiritual abilities. Not complicated. They come with the body and they're available once you understand how to just reframe, rewire yourself. So simultaneous time is where you begin to recognize that aspect of past, future lives. They're available to you all the time. They are all happening simultaneously. They're not happening on a linear future past timetable. And more often than not, you don't go, you basically are able to access that aspect of you with a question like, have I ever done this before? How do I begin to understand this experience I'm having? Now, just asking that question puts you right back into present time. It's like I've got to be here and I've got to be aware of what comes to me. Now you're beginning to manage yourself much more comfortably. You're not in those anxieties. You're not in the fear reactionary mode. You've stepped out of that third dimensional game board into kind of where we're structuring this next phase for humanity. It's this octave. And this octave is all about joy and ease and buoyancy and lightness. All of a sudden you start to play there. It's a there. It's not something you're trying to do. It just simply begins to be this calm, ease, enjoyment. In that space, you start to say, how did I do this before or, before or after, meaning simultaneously? And all of a sudden you sit there and you go, oh, I could do that. There's the answer. It's really how it works. But it's not what I know. Many people listening to this are saying in their head right now, well, that sounds good, but that's not how it works. No, yes, it is how it works. How have you been doing so far? How has your life treated you so far? Have you been comfortable and ease in recognizing I like the apple, and the apple simply begins to appear? Now that mindset is very different than the mindset we've grown up in. But that's the transition we're in today.
It's a huge mindset. And it's so interesting how much that mindset touches and alters everything. Yeah. Right? This is where, you're constantly wanting to stay healthy, but your body's always doing that. Your body's natural state of being is to want to be healthy.
Yes.
But you're always like, but most of us get caught up in oh, I'm worried. I got a cold. I don't know. How can I maintain? What do I need to do to be healthy? And it's like, no, it's okay. Your body's always doing its best. So it's kind of an interesting reversal too. Like this is, instead of me going to something, it's the same thing. Now it's coming to me. Wait, health comes to me. Wait, abundance can come to me. It's kind of like backwards thinking, which is such an interesting place, because it's the same thing where we talk about that I'm okay. I'm always okay. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? You mean I'm always okay? And you're like, yeah, no, you're always okay. You're like, it's hard to wrap your mind around that when you've lived and been told everything works the other way around. So it
Yes.
is interesting, this reversal shift, right? Where time in its way is reversing in that way. You're like, oh, wait, no, if I just sit in present time and just be very present, everything moves and I can find my flow and things will sort a little bit better for me. Or I can notice, oh, I see why that puzzle piece didn't fit there. I need to move over here
Yes.
without getting angry or upset at what you're like, this again?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can play that same little game. Take 1, 2, 3 breaths, sitting in a chair, and see if you can recognize, I'm fine. Well, no, I'm not, because I have this problem. And take another breath and just get to the point where I am just sitting in the chair. Right now, the world is not ending. My marriage isn't ending. My job isn't ending. My money problems aren't there. Right now, I don't have any of those problems right now. Now, as soon as you step up and walk out of the room, the circumstances of your life are still there to deal with. But right now, I'm fine. And if you can allow that awareness, if you can just play that for just a moment, a couple times a day, that I'm fine. Oh, my body might hurt. Take a breath. And even with my body hurting, the closest thing to you as a conscious being, my body, is I'm fine. I have a pain in my knee and I'm fine. What happens is that pain in the knee now has a reason to begin to look other places to find well-being and heal. But as long as you keep telling your knee that's broken, it's hurting, it's really a problem, I'm never going to walk right again, the universe says, happily give you what you ask for.
Yeah. And I see if I can tie this one more piece. I've been particularly fascinated about this. It seems like the motion that we have is the in breath. And we've just constantly been in breathing our whole lives, running to the next thing and the next thought and the next motion. Like this is just constant. But when you relax and you're breathing out, it's the exhale. It's a reflection almost of information. You're like, oh, I never paused to see this, or I never noticed that because there was never a pause in your day.
Okay. Right. It's just giving yourself permission to allow yourself to experience. See, we touch on this all the time, but let's do it right here for the sake of the conversation. Is if you really think about growing up with the mom, dad, teacher, minister, one of the things you probably heard often, unless you've been with a really wonderful family, and there are many of us that have had wonderful families, and there are many of us who have had parents' structures that have not been so wonderful. And so in those circumstances, how often did you hear, no, I don't give you permission. You're not allowed to. You can't do that. I don't give you permission. And stop imagining those things. Stop making up stories. So 3 things that were taken away from us in the game as we grow up is you have permission. Permission is yours. You own permission. Allowing, you own allowing. I'm allowed. My permission gives me permission to allow myself to experience my imagination. And so if you really think about it, those 3 things are all coming back now. That you get into present time and you start giving yourself permission. You start allowing yourself. Just walk down a different street. Well, I'm not allowed. You don't even live with that tribe anymore. Go try something new. Give yourself permission to do something different. Drive down another street, eat a different ice cream cone, have vegan food if you're used to eating steaks. Permission to try something new. Imagine a reality that you want.
It's a big deal. It's such a big deal. And allow yourself time. Allow yourself to have time and stop fighting time. Like, I can allow myself time. I have permission to take all the time in the world I want and need.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a unique period of time that we're in because it's changing. I mean, the sense that it's going faster or slower is just, you're beginning to move much more into present time. And the slowness is when you're not in present time in a lot of ways. And also the speed is when you're not in present time. It's like, what happened to my day? You weren't here. The day came and went without you for the most part. So, but this space, this shift, this transition, the more you get into present time, the more you're going to start to find you have the ability to alter how you're experiencing yourself. I make this comment often, it's a new day dawning. And all that means is it's been dark and it was a little lighter and a little lighter and now it's beginning to be very light. And that light is beginning to shine into those shadows and those beliefs and those alignments that are not you in the heart. The well-being, the joy, the excitement, the buoyancy, the laughter. See, that's who you are. You can't not be that, but you can work really hard at trying not to be that. And that's what we do, listening to everybody else's how the world works. And if you just take that one breath and ask yourself, is this the world that I want to live in? Keep chasing things, feeling not okay, forgetting about laughing. That's the world that's going away. But it does require some attention in that space of present time.
And can I add one more piece to this? This is going such a beautiful place. What about the statement where I am okay? That everything you talked about, and I'm right here, I'm okay. I am in my heaven right now, in a sense. Like, everything is here and available to me. Somehow being what it is that you've been seeking is so much more powerful in that moment. I just wanted to bring that in.
Yeah. So it's a space where we have kind of we've separated from creator to play this game. Just let that be a statement. And the game, the way it's been constructed from all that this is what's right, this is what's wrong, stop imagining things, stop making things up. I don't give you permission. Can you see how that tightens everything down to the point where you live in this little bubble that basically says, here's the rules of the game. Dualities, right, wrong, good, bad. They're good, they're bad. Those people you don't want to live with, don't go into that food. All of that messaging just sits in your space, unexamined, unreviewed, and just allowed to be in that subconscious, basically operating. But as soon as you get into this space of present time and you start to recognize, I am okay. See, you can't be not okay. We work hard at it. And you start recognizing, what would I like in my life? And not as like, oh, I can't have that. Yes, you can. But start to put your attention on, what would I like? I would like to, and it's not money. It's not the house. It's not the trophy wife, husband. It's not. It's the space where I'd like to laugh more. I would like to enjoy myself. I would like to go for a nice walk and pretend that the flower I said hello to said hello back to me. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, I think it did say hello back to me. It's that space where you entertain yourself in joy. And it gets very there. It just begins to be there.
Beautiful. And I think that is the perfect note to kind of end on. What an incredible conversation. I think everyone's going to really enjoy this and bring ourselves back into that center. And I'm okay. I'm right here, and locking into that peace. Thank you.
Well, thank you.